be able to pass around the evaluation sheet. We just want your feedback from the lectures, what you liked, what you didn't like, if you'd be interested in attending in the future. And again, thanks to all the people who helped make this happen, the Shura Islamic Forum here at Harvard Divinity School for giving us this room, the different organizations that helped advertise, many different ones, Islamic Legal Studies Program, Center for Middle Eastern Studies, Harvard Islamic Society, Harvard Persian Society, Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, and others. Thanks to those organizations, and of course, thank all you guys for making this happen. Of course, without your guys' participation, none of this would have happened. And with that, I'd like to open it up to question and answer.
Hi. Thank you. I wish I could have been here for all of them. I only attended maybe 4, but it was fascinating. When you speak about pure soul and perfection of soul, I personally, words are, of course, like you say, tricky, along with the word sacrifice, in the process of going through life and living life and trying to understand what it is to achieve this essence of living and this balance of living that you're saying. I personally think that pure and perfection, there's something almost innately wrong with those two words, because I think what you're trying to describe is actually beyond these perfect words. And I was wondering if you see that or feel the same way about particular. I know that sometimes language itself is limited, and you have to say something, but words like sacrifice and pure and perfection, do you also see that there's something, I think it just be tweaked a little bit and be a little more breathing and less like a point that stops or ends?
So what do you expect me to do? To stretch language or
yes,
to
reinvent language? Like Rumi did.
Yeah.
It's not really an expectation. I'm just wondering if you also the words. I write a lot, and I try really hard not to. I steer around this word. I'm tempted to many times in many poems to put down the word pure, and every time I do, it's just no. Don't use that word, because every time I do, and then I read the word out, people hear it, they grasp something other than what it was I was trying to say. So it's in the receiving of these lofty attainments from the listener's point of view that I feel that the sender actually fails in trying to say what it is that he or she is truly trying to say.
Well, I mean, this is something which is unavoidable. Perhaps we are not sure what Rumi meant when he was using these words, such as sacrifice or soul or whatever. Though through, reading him more closely and more perfectly, perhaps we get a sense of what he had in mind. But the meaning of a sentence or a poem is not what the writer of the poem has got in mind. The meaning is what the addressee, the audience, actually gets from it. And you are not responsible for that. And even you cannot predict that. You mean something and you put it in your words, your own sentences, and you put it on the paper. That's your business, and that's your part of it. But it does not end. Then it starts an independent life, okay, which is not under your auspices, under your control, whatever. So it actually continues like that. And it is like a river that you have got only a share to make it flow. And then there are other people on the sides of the river, and they take water from the river and they use it in whatever way they like. And none is predictable by you. There are, of course, limitations. I'm not saying that this receiving or getting the meaning from the words is so chaotic. That is not what I'm saying. But nevertheless, the ways that one can make sense of, especially of a piece of poetry, we are not talking science here, poetry is very different and indeed, as I said, very unpredictable. You cannot really know and say what would happen to the other end of it. I mean, the people who receive it and who understand it, because it is a concatenations of symbols and words, and they change meaning and they change sense, and people who encounter them have got different worldviews, different cultures, different affiliations and so on. Therefore, we never can be sure. We can never be sure of what would happen when a piece of poetry is launched, you see, to the public, and people at the receiving end receive it and try to make sense of it. So of course, in the old culture, in the ancient culture, sacrifice meant something to the people when they heard it. For us, in the modern civilization, sacrifice is something which is very alien to our mind. And in order to understand it and to make sense of it, we have to make ourselves closer and closer to the ancient worldview in order to create the same framework for us and to accommodate us into that framework, to see the world through the eyes that they used to see, and then try to make sense of it. That is the thing. But the poems that you write 1,000 years from now has got the same story. People again will have some perplexity, will have some doubts as to what you originally meant. But that is, I would say, immaterial. That doesn't matter anymore. The death of the author, you know, of course, the philosophy of the age, the death of the author. When you authored, you penned something, so the author is considered dead. Now the poetry is life, and you have to deal with that author.
Before we take another question, just a quick comment on the audio and videotaping. As you've noticed, we're audio taping and videotaping the lectures, and I'd like to thank Carrie Sainer for helping us with the video productions. We really appreciate your cooperation in that regard. We are hoping to make these available. The audio looks like pretty sure that we'll make them available via the internet, and so we'll let you know via our email list when that is available. And the video, we'll try and get it on the web. It's pretty difficult, but we'll see what we can do. And then if that doesn't work out, we'll, because some of you expressed interest, you've missed lectures, or you know people who might want to view one of the videos, we might make it available here at one of the libraries, and if we do, we'll let you know via the email list. So if you're not on the list and you'd like to be in the know-how about what we end up doing with the audios and videos, please sign up on the email list. And if we get classes started in the future, if you'd like to find out about classes possibly next semester similar to this, then please sign up on the list if you haven't already done so. And with that, further questions? Yes.
The cycle of life and death needs to go back even the time of ancient Egyptians. They considered life as a preparation for death, life as being one of many lives, and they even built the pyramids for that purpose. And in history, it means that the idea has evolved over time. We had self against God, we had selflessness against the common good. So if you look at the evolution of this concept over time, if Rumi was alive today, I just wonder how he would view this, that we seem to be moving away from these concepts. The self seems to be sitting on the throne today. If you had seen America in 21st century, I just wonder what would be his take on this?
Well, I think it's pretty clear. Of course, I mean, the question of death and life is a perennial question. I mean, it has been always there, and it will be always there. And so long as human beings are on the earth, they